God, my brain is racing because there's so many subjects and things I want to talk to you about, but I almost want to initially go back to near the start because again we've had lots of similarities in terms of life experience in some ways, and one of them being we started on the TV at the age of 15. I was somewhat sheltered in the sort of kids TV world. I didn't have paparazzi, I didn't have all eyes on me. I sort of got away just under the radar with doing the job, but only sort of 6-year-olds would recognize me in the street. So I was pretty sheltered in terms of that exposure. But you went straight into mainstream popular culture with a show that you didn't know it was going to blow up like that, but the word was instantly huge. You were instantly focused upon as a teenager, but in a very adult setting. And I wonder how messy that period of your life was.
It was, I mean, looking back at that period of my life through the lens that I have today and the awareness that I have today, it was really catastrophic because, I mean, my daughter is now the same age that I was when I started hosting The Word, and it was live late night TV. And, I was the youngest person on the show. I was a schoolgirl, and I went from being an anonymous kid to being a household name within months. And there is, and like you said, the nature of the show was that it was a very tabloid show. Now, whether the producers were feeding stories to the tabloids, they probably were. But it thrust me into this really tabloid environment and world that I had no experience of. And I mean, what 15-year-old schoolgirl does. And so it was actually, no, I was 16 when I started doing that. But it was really catastrophic for me because I, now looking back, realized that I just went into survival mode. I loved the job piece of it because I loved interviewing people, and I was just genuinely curious about the people I was talking to. I obviously had a lot of courage because I was hosting a live, not live to tape, with no delay, late night show.
Live,
So
live.
live, which I do love because they can't make you do it again. Like whatever you say, you
Yeah,
say.
I'm going home. Bye.
Yeah, bye, done, see ya. And I do love that, and I kind of miss that aspect of it. But the tabloid attention and the level of scrutiny and what I would define as bullying was immense and took a huge, my mental health was really under assault every single day. And I lived like that for years. And I didn't know there was anything not okay about it because it was how I lived. And at the time, there just weren't that many famous people in England. If you were one of them, it was like living in a goldfish bowl.
Yeah.
And to be, I look at my daughter and how she's developing her identity and she's individuating and she's growing up. And I thought, my God, I did this. I grew up under the scrutiny and the vicious bullying scrutiny of the UK tabloid media. And I think it really was extremely detrimental to me. And I don't understand how this behavior is okay and how it hasn't changed much,
No, that's
actually.
the unbelievable thing. It really hasn't, and we've seen so many people fall victim to it in the worst possible ways, and there hasn't been much change, and that's terrifying.
There hasn't been much change at all. And what that level of, I'm not talking about just people talking about you. I'm talking about vicious
Yeah.
attacks, verbal attacks, photographs, like just attacking every single aspect of you. And, not everyone makes it. Not everyone makes it through being famous.
Yeah.
We've lost a lot of people to that level of scrutiny and harassment. And people's mental health really suffers to the point where, some people aren't here today. And I
Do you think
don't.
you've healed fully from it? Because I'm listening to you talk now. I know I haven't. I really know that I haven't. And my that scrutiny for me came later, but I know I'm still not okay.
Yeah, I would say that you know, unfortunately for my family, I left the UK at 20 because I literally left food in the fridge and laundry in the hamper because I couldn't take one more News of the World cover story about how fat I was from having, you know, having been pregnant and had a child. And, you know, the horrendous commentary on my body and what happened to me, Amanda de Flabonnet, and just
Oh,
horrible.
God.
And as a 20-year-old that had just had a child, it was just way too much for me. And so unfortunately for my family, you know, I moved away and moved to Los Angeles as far away as I could get, um, because of that scrutiny. And that's really affected my family and my relationship with them. I couldn't really go back to the UK for about 10 years. I was so traumatized from the experience, and I just wanted to be an anonymous person. And it's taken me up until this point in my life to even be able to talk about the experience, because I had so much residual trauma and anxiety in my body. When I would talk about it, I would literally go into fight or flight again. And so it's taken many, many years. And I don't think that people understand the detrimental impact that that level of harassment, because there's nothing, it is harassment.
Yeah, it's harassment and bullying because
It's
they
bullying.
dehumanize you. It's complete harassment.
And there should be, and I don't know why there aren't more protective laws in place. I know that in America we have laws photographing children of famous people, but there is not enough. There's no protection in the UK. It's just game on. So I think I kind of intentionally tried to not be famous for many, many years because I just wanted no part of it. And it was a shame because ultimately I really love my job. But if being famous, I really stepped away from anything that involved me being in front of the camera. I would say for a good 10 years, because I just needed to heal. I just needed to not be the focus of that level of verbal assault, to be honest.
And did you do any specific therapy or have any particular coping mechanisms that have got you to the place where, you know, you are openly talking about it? You've written about it in your book. You are able to come back to the UK. You are, thank God, able to use your skill set and years of experience to keep doing a job that you love. Was there anything that helped?
A lot of things helped. I mean, you know, my first solution was to drink a lot and do a lot of drugs when I was a teenager. That was my first solution to kind of not be present with the uncomfortable feelings because I didn't even know what was going on. And then when I got pregnant with my daughter, Atlanta, when I was 19, obviously that had to stop. And that was the first period of time that I had to feel the feelings. And I pretty much put myself into therapy at that point because the feelings were so uncomfortable. And I just was overwhelmed with despair and grief and confusion and sadness, because there are great things about fame too. It's not like it's all shit. There are amazing things about fame. But then there's this other side of it that is kind of on at that time really did cancel out the benefits for me. And so I put myself into therapy. I have done over the years all kinds of different healing modalities. I don't think, it's a bit like an a la carte menu and you have to find things that work for you.
Yeah.
I've become somewhat of an expert on my own trauma. And, I've done psychotherapy. I've done a lot of different trauma work. I've done EMDR. I've done somatic work. I've done neurofeedback. I have done, all different types of meditation. I still meditate daily. I try to exercise, and just get my body moving. I swim or I walk. I've been in therapy, some type of therapeutic process pretty much consistently since I was 20.